Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video today to talk about the 4 profit centers inside of real estate. So often the emphasis or the overemphasis is on just cash flow. And while we see that month over month and we feel that in our checking account, there's these other profit centers that are working for us behind the scenes. And I just want to make sure everyone's clear of them and they're aware of what's happening behind the scenes as well as up front. So I'm going to draw a picture here of a house. And profit center number 1 is cash flow. Okay, this is the one everyone's aware of. And if we put $75,000 down on a $250,000 house and the cash flow is $300 a month, you know, we're going to be making somewhere between that 3 to 5% ROI. Okay, that one's easy. Okay, number 2 is principal reduction. Okay, and this is when we get a mortgage. We make a mortgage payment. It's $1,400 every month, and $200 goes towards principal. And then the next month is $202, and then the next month is $204. And over time, of course, it starts to transition, more principal, less interest. And this is going to represent about a 3% ROI. And again, over time, that grows, okay? But that's just happening behind the scenes. Number 3 is depreciation. Now, I'll dive into depreciation and how it works and normal depreciation and accelerated depreciation or bonus or cost segregation in a different video. But for this one, suffice it to say that you get to depreciate and that helps offset income. And the ROI calculation on this is somewhere between 2 to 3%, depending on your tax bracket. If you're in about a 28% overall tax bracket, you should be right inside of that range. If you're in a higher tax bracket, you're gonna get even more benefit from an ROI standpoint. Okay, and if we look at those 3, really we're about 8, to 12%. I like to call that almost like an internal rate of return, okay, operationally. If you pay $275 for a house and it's always worth $275, you still have this happening. And of course, over time it goes up because rents go up 2 to 3% a year on average. Principal reduction every single month, year over year, gets more and more benefit. This stays flat the entire 20, 30 years if you owned it that long. Okay, that stays the same every single year. And then we have number 4, which is appreciation. Okay, and this is where most of wealth is made inside of real estate. And what's so beautiful about leverage is with $75,000, you can get appreciation on $250,000, right? With $100,000 on $300,000, et cetera. And if appreciation is 4 to 5% on average, we try to identify markets that are going to outpace the national average. But if you have a $300,000 house and it goes up 5%, that's $15,000. Well, if you put $90,000 down to get that house, that's over 15%, right? Annualized return or ROI on your money. And so this number ends up being 15% plus ROI. We add these two together, and this is where you get your 25% plus on average over time ROIs. And that's what we target, right? When we underwrite these houses, we're always looking at all 4 of these profit centers. What's the end result? What do we think we can accomplish in 5, 10 plus years of holding this property if it performs how we assume it's going to perform? But don't forget about this. Don't forget about this. Everybody's aware of this, and you only feel it when you sell it, right? But we're constantly analyzing, watching this and tracking it. But to get 25% plus ROIs without much risk, right? If you called your stock advisor and said, hey, I want you to target 25% plus ROI in my stock portfolio, he'd look at you a little worried and say, okay, but you're gonna be susceptible to a lot of risk. There's some exposure here if we're gonna try to chase that. This is a strategy where we just don't have much exposure. These rents don't ever really go down. Your mortgage payment only gets better over time because you're paying more principal over time. And if rates go down, we refinance. But if rates go up, we don't touch it and it doesn't move, right? And so it's very predictable, these first 3. And so that 8 to 12% plus, we can be very patient. And we can wait for this to happen because we know over any extended period of time, real estate's always going to go up in value. So be aware of how all of this works. And I think if anything, it allows us to have patience, but it also allows us to buy more sooner because we understand how all these profit centers work. And it's not about timing the market, it's about timing the market.